Hello and welcome to today's United States coronavirus pandemic update for July 6, 2022. Starting off with the CDC COVID transmission map, the old one, as we like to use. We don't like to use the new one. Majority of United States, 86.1% of the case, 86.1% of the counties are at high transmission levels. You'll notice here much of the Northeast is now down to substantial, and even parts of New York State and Vermont are in moderate risk. I think that's going to slowly start to increase as the BA.5 wave gets going. And the major cities in the Northeast are still at high transmission. The southern states, even up into the mid-Atlantic into Pennsylvania, the majority of the counties are in high transmission. Almost all of California, except for one county, is in high transmission. As you go to the plains, the central plains, it's generally a mixed bag of everything. And I think that will fill in with a little more orange and red as time goes on. Great Lakes, a lot of orange, but more so you do have high transmission areas like look at Illinois. Majority of the state is in high transmission. Taking a look at today's cases, we have 234,983 cases reported to the BNO website so far today. 653 deaths have been added today, 1.2 million tests dumped, and a further 1,804 people have been hospitalized, bringing that total now to 35,460 people in the hospital. ICUs are up by 216 today, bringing that total to 4,107. Now, mind you, with the hospital data and even the case data, I don't think New York State has been added to BNO yet. So once New York State's added, that's really going to be a 2,000 increase. Yes, 2,000 increase in hospitalizations today. But remember, some of this is lag data. A lot of states do weekly dumpings today. Some are doing dumpings back from last Friday. New York State's one of them. Coming down here, looking at the individual states. California today reported 69,077 new cases. That does date back to last Friday, but still, they're up 5% week over week. Texas reported 8,000 cases today. Florida also reported 8,000 cases today. Pennsylvania, they've added a 9,000 case amount here. Mind you, Pennsylvania did its weekly dumping today, and we'll get into that in a little bit. North Carolina, 23,120 cases, also a weekly dumping. Georgia, almost 20,000 cases. And Arizona, almost 20,000 cases, both weekly dumpings. Washington added 11,000 cases today. That's a dumping that goes back to last Friday, I believe. As we come down here, check this out. The United States military added 7,100 new cases today. Not good. Hawaii, 4,300 new cases, and so on. Vermont also adds an additional 477 cases, but that does date back to last Friday. Looking at some of the death data here, California, 94 more deaths. New York State, another 81 deaths. Georgia, weekly number, 106 deaths added. Arizona, weekly number, 57 deaths added, and so on. So really, even if you took away the weekly dumpings, it still would be around a 300 death day, which, some people are saying we're now in the endemic stage, and they've been preaching about it. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with that. If this was an endemic, we still wouldn't be having this many deaths. And unfortunately, the BA.5 variant, it's looking to be like it's going to be a slightly more severe variant than the previous subvariants that we saw back in the spring, and I'll explain why in a moment. Coming to hospital data, again, keep in mind some of this is lagged going back to last week. California added nearly 500 hospitalizations today, taking them over 4,380 hospitalizations. Texas, this is not lagged. 166 hospitalizations added. Florida added 214. Pennsylvania, which does use the HHS count, for some reason HHS didn't update today, but BNO News got Pennsylvania, and we've added 83 in Pennsylvania today. North Carolina, up 53. And it continues on here. Another one that had a big rise was Washington State, which is at 886, and that's an increase of 168 hospitalizations today. And some of that is because of lag data from last week, but it does show the trend, which hospitalizations in the United States are continuing to rise. Let's quickly run through the variant proportions here. The BA.5 variant today makes up 53.6% of the cases. The old BA.2.12.1, 27.2% of the cases. BA.4, which is going to be outpaced by BA.5 because BA.5 is a variant that spreads faster and it's more immune evasive and it causes far more reinfections. So therefore, though the BA.4 variant does exist here at 16.5%, it's never going to fully take over, and BA.5 is going to be dominant, which will then be followed by the BA.2.75 variant, which we'll have to deal with in the fall. More on that in the coming weeks. Going over to Walgreens. Walgreens did not update today. The national positivity is 32.7%. Looking at a couple states, 47.4% positivity in Alaska. Another really bad one's Montana, 40% positivity. Wyoming is 16% positive, but look what's happening here. They're up 6.3% week over week. Another one that I should have mentioned yesterday, West Virginia is now 42% positive. Look at this. They're up 14.8% in just a matter of a week or two. And it's just rapidly going up you can see on the chart over the last week to week and a half, it's just gone straight up. And that 14.8%, by the way, that is week over week. But what I'm showing you here on the chart is about the last week and a half. And the Northeast, there's still some green areas, which means things are improving. I think that's going to soon flip. But here's what's concerning. We look at New York State here at the trend. You can see New York State's still down, so they're not yet rising. But when we come over here to look at New York State data, New York State had 3,996 new cases today. Their state reported positivity is now 9.2%, right? So this reported cases is not up yet. Mind you, this misses the at-home test. But look what's happening with hospitalizations. Hospitalizations are now rising. So on July 1st, it was 1,982 people hospitalized. Look at today. It's now 2,206 people hospitalized. And mind you, the dominant variant in New York State is BA.5. So even though the cases being reported are not yet rising, the cases that are being reported, which majority are BA.5, are turning out to be more severe because the number of people in the hospital are already rising. So that is a concerning trend. And if we look at hospital admissions, I know they have not been updated in many days, but you have to recall the exact same situation happened back on Memorial Day weekend as well. So it was the same length of time in between reports. And today we added up in New York State 1,151 hospitalizations, admissions, which is the largest admission increase for a single day since the winter wave, and you have to go back to January to find any day that was higher than this. So that's a troubling sign for New York State. Let's get to Pennsylvania real quickly, shall we? Pennsylvania's state-reported hospitalizations are at 1,054. The state actually reported 7% decrease in cases this week. I'm not really buying that because some parts of southeast Pennsylvania have reported a significant increase week over week cases. Example, Bucks County last week had 600 or 700 cases, which is a county just north of Philadelphia County. This week they came in with over 1,200 new cases. So if we're seeing counties here in the southeast part of the state rising, I'm already going to assume the rest of the state has started rising. And because of the at-home testing, yet again, it's just not really being picked up on. Taking a look at some various regions, we'll look at the Philadelphia metro area, which would be southeast Pennsylvania. 427 people hospitalized. Hospital capacity here still okay, but if we see a significant increase, that's going to be a problem. And also keep in mind, it says 1,144 beds available. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's enough staff to manage all those beds. So they may only actually have staff for 700 or 800 additional open beds. We don't know the true number. And that's why you were seeing understaffed issues in the wintertime, while meanwhile the dashboard would still report that there's plenty of capacity available, which was not true because ER waits were just ridiculous. Southwest Pennsylvania, where Pittsburgh is, you have 201 people currently in the hospital. Keep in mind the HHS number is always going to be higher than the state reported number for Pennsylvania, and that is true for a lot of states. HHS did not update today, so let's just skip right over that. Looking at the worldwide picture here real quickly, and you're going to see cases are continuing to skyrocket in many countries. France, 154,000 new cases. Brazil, 76,000 new cases. And their deaths are already rising. 335 new deaths. India, 21,000 new cases today. Italy, 107,000 new cases today. You get the idea here. Let's go to the weekly trends real quickly. Weekly trends. France is up 52%. Italy, 55%. Spain's up 30%. Even Australia's up 19%. Japan, Mexico, all up 45, 46%. Greece is up 34%. South Korea is even seeing a 50% increase now. And here's another one that's interesting. In the last 7 days, New Zealand has reported 52,000 cases. That's a 33% increase. Just a few months back, New Zealand was still COVID-0. Then they completely opened up their country, and ever since, it's been floodgates open for COVID cases, and they will probably not be able to control it back to the level they had before they opened up their country. Looking at the charts, here you go again. France is just going straight up. Germany is continuing up. United States will start to go up more soon now that we're getting all the lag data starting to pile in. Check this out. British Airways today to cut a further 10,300 flights until the end of October. Why? It's simple. They can blame anything they want. It's because masks have been taken away from transportation. The theme is being seen in most countries. Europe and the United States are getting hit the hardest. There's air traffic control shortages, flight attendant shortages, pilot shortages. TSA is having shortages. Here in the United States, they keep blaming the weather. Okay, we have severe thunderstorms every summer. You get derechos, which are mesoscale convective systems that move across the country with strong winds. You get them. Okay, they happen every summer. But the flight cancellations are never as bad as they are right now. And the root of the problem is COVID and long COVID. You have people out sick with COVID. You have people that can no longer work and are quitting their jobs because of long COVID. It's simple. Treat long COVID. Take COVID serious again, and maybe, just maybe, we can start to get these problems rectified. But if you have any travel plans this summer, yeah, it's not looking good. This problem's only going to get worse. We saw a case last night of long COVID in real time where Carlos Santana collapsed on stage during a performance. He had coronavirus last year, then I believe he had a heart procedure of some sort done, and now last night he just collapsed. And they're saying his health condition is not too well. Hopefully he makes through this, and hopefully he gets better. Let's briefly touch on the monkeypox pandemic, shall we? Today there were 232 new cases added, which is significantly less than yesterday. Yesterday had a lot of weekly dumpings added. Germany added 62 new cases, Spain 58, United States 45, Brazil 26, Portugal 18, Switzerland 10. United States is now at 605 cases. We continue to go up. At this rate, maybe next week or the following week, we're going to be over 1,000 cases of monkeypox in the country, and yet there's very little to none in the way of media coverage in this country, which is just absolutely horrible. There needs to be media coverage of the monkeypox situation. And I mean, look at Germany. Germany's at 1,304 cases already. Spain, which has the highest in the world, which is the epicenter right now, has 1,804. So this is something that's going to keep evolving, and it's probably only going to get worse. Alright, thank you for watching today's video of the coronavirus pandemic and a brief update of monkeypox. Please remember to continue wearing a high-quality N95 mask. Avoid large gatherings. Stay safe. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe down below.